Hey guys, Evans here from Seeing You Fit. I'm actually live with a buddy of mine here, Phil from Phil More Fit out in Baltimore. So Phil reached out and was like, "Hey Evans, can we chat it up a little bit?" And I was like, "Sure, let's have this conversation." So Phil, tell us a little bit about your background, and then whatever you want to discuss is your show.
How are you? I appreciate you having me on, and you are, some people don't reach out to other people, but I really have rubbed shoulders with you hand in hand. A several amount of times doing some events up in Delaware, so it's always good for like-minded men to speak, especially about what's going on in the world today. But I appreciate you having me on. Obviously, I went to Delaware State University and I have my undergraduate degree in sport medicine and my master's degree sports rehab. And I'm about to finish my doctorate in sports psychology in a couple of weeks. So I'm wrapping up my dissertation now.
Nice.
I own a gym and a wellness center out in Baltimore. It's like a boot camp style gym, and we do everything in the rehab center from yoga to physical therapy to mental health to microblading to physiotherapy. We have a chiropractor that comes in and out. So we try to be more diverse than anyone else in the area, rather than you going to 5 different places for health and wellness. You can just come to one.
Nice.
Then I have a small office out in Virginia. I work next to a chiropractor, Dr. Reza Eftekar, and I do myofascial release, but I title it as clinical movement enhancement, like a full deep stretch, knock out the acute pain, knock the tension off, work on your posture. So that's really been my specialty for the past year. So I try to be well-rounded because at times like this, obviously, if we're just trainers, then we're pretty bad shape.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So good stuff. So I know you have a couple questions. Talk to me.
So how are you liking the online training?
Well, we actually really enjoy it. For me, I don't do like most of the training, or coaching, we call it. And my team does that, so, through this time frame, everybody's been working full time and maybe a little bit more than full time to be able to continually serve our clients. But it's been
Right.
phenomenal. We realized that you're right. If someone's only a trainer,
Yeah.
they're in a bad shape. But our team has been able to, focus on what it takes to really coach people to take them to the next level.
Okay.
And if you understand, like all the things you talked about, movement science and biomechanics and
Yeah.
how proper movement should be and how to cue people and how to engage people to meet their goals, then we
Right.
can do that. The camera just became our eyes.
Okay.
So it's really cool. We've seen some phenomenal dynamics during this time frame, but it's been great. It's been a great opportunity for us to gel as a team, for like our senior fit clients to really gain momentum and
Right.
and get that coaching that they need as they're transitioning in their
Right.
world, dealing with this pandemic. So it. I mean, the pandemic by itself is not great, but the online training has been phenomenal.
Right. So I've been doing just 3 classes a week, me personally, for just anybody who wants to view. We still have some clients that are donating on a monthly basis, just to keep our lights on because we would hate to lose our building. So I'm doing work here and there just to make sure we have the lights on, we don't lose the building. I built this from ground up since 2012. So thank God I've learned to live humbly my whole life. So I'm not out splurging all the money. Whenever it
Mhm.
comes in, I always put something away. I make sure my staff is paid. And whatever's
Yeah.
left over, if there is something left over, and as a gym owner, there may not be some money left over. So we have to really, continue to build, even if we have people working with us and the staff working under us. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to know, how do I keep my staff motivated? Because I have about 10 trainers on my team,
Mhm.
all different personalities and different styles of training, and some like to bodybuild, and some like hit training, and some like calisthenics. So how do I keep them motivated? Because not everybody has the same mind frame right now. Some people are scared to do live workouts. Some people feel like they don't have the stamina to do it also.
Mhm. So to kind of answer that question, is a revelation that I had to come through a couple of years ago that um, everybody's not going to be a part of the vision that I have
Right.
towards the future. So it's kind of like for us, it's about ensuring whoever's there's a great book, Good to Great,
Right.
phenomenal book, and he talks
Right.
about the first thing you want to do is establish what are the seats that you need to have on the bus.
Yeah.
because what you're talking about here is building this dynamic organization that
Yes.
serves people in multiple different modalities.
Yes.
So if you were to go with a blank slate, not thinking about the individuals, what seats do you need on that bus?
Right.
And then you
Right.
know you can look at your team and go, okay, who can fill that seat?
Yeah.
And if they don't have the skill sets to necessarily fill the seat, who has the capacity to develop that skill to fill the seat? But everybody on the team has to be committed to the championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
played football, you know what I mean? It was about like, hey, we need to win this championship. So similarly, it's like, what is the championship for Feel More Fit? And are you committed to winning that championship? And
Right.
what that means is you as a coach, you may have to call different plays from time to time,
Yeah.
and we have to pivot, meaning, hey, I predominantly play, offense and I'm a wide receiver, but today you're going to be a cornerback because
Right.
you need somebody, who's quick, who can
Right.
smash the pocket. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so to keep the team motivated, that's something we've done is every we meet often.
Mhm.
So weekly we meet as a group, and then we
Right.
also meet individually. So either myself or my office manager is meeting individually with the staff to figure out, hey, these are the mission we're going after for the month. This is how you're tracking on that monthly mission.
Right.
How can
Right.
we support
Right.
you and
Right.
all those kind of things. So
And
that
and that
is something that's helped dramatically.
and that's why I'm kind of glad the pandemic happened. It's like I had so much going on. I was working 4 days a week in my Virginia office, so Baltimore to Virginia 4 days a week, and then and then for the rest of the days, 3 days up here in Baltimore. So you know how many hours we put in? 15, 20, 24 hours mostly throughout the week. So it was I was glad I got a chance to slow down and see what was going on and see where the money was going and see who really had the vision, because you know people think that you make money overnight, you know, and you could have the opportunity, but it takes a long time to sharpen those tools. I'm still
Hmm.
sharpening my tools on a daily basis,
Hmm.
so that's what I keep trying to instill into my trainers. They see me, we have 4 assisted livings that we care for. We have a handful of corporate wellness offices we take care of. We have the Warrior Water. We have the clothing line. So I try to provide a million platforms. So hey, maybe if you're not a good trainer, you can sell cases of Warrior Water, or you can go out and get us more assisted living. So I try to create as many opportunities for my team so they can say, hey, you didn't give me that opportunity. But I'm like, all you have to do is ask. I provide all these opportunities. Wherever you think you can fit in, let's get you there.
Hmm. And maybe to get an engaged group, it's I did that. I try to like feed everybody and provide for everybody, and I realize that's a part of my responsibility.
Yeah.
But I'm really like, I've learned over the last couple of years, it's about filtering to ensure, like, do you align with me core value wise? That was a great lesson I learned from a fitness business coach, Sean Greenlee, and his team at MPE. And it was like, hey, what are the core values? And do you align with our core values? And then, like, how bad do you want it?
Right.
Because we feel
Right.
that burden because, we see the need in the community and we're like, man, I can help all these people. And then we see the need in our staff. We're like, man, I want to make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that person has to bring some of that to the table too. What I mean? They have
Right.
to be a part of it. And, in these lean times, you get to see who's on your team.
Okay. Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
to see where the priorities are and who's willing. And I'm blessed because our team was gelled very well, and everybody kind of stepped up, and they were like,
Right.
"Hey, we'll figure this out. We'll learn together. We'll press in a little bit harder."
Right.
But we have to also realize that our team may be motivated differently than we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
dialing into
Yeah.
what drives an individuals and what's their motivations. I
Right.
interviewed a young lady yesterday, and I mean, she blew away the interview, crushed it. But when I listened to her, she was really passionate about adding value, and she didn't
Right.
feel like where she was adding value.
Right.
You know,
So, so,
and
so
again,
some of my trainers, I'm always about fair opportunity, educating you, helping you. So some of my trainers have never been trainers before, and I built them from ground up,
mhm,
just to give them that opportunity. So I think maybe one or two of my trainers, we're the only ones training full time. Everybody else has another job.
mhm,
So how can I say, hey, listen, this Feel More Fit, your part time job is just as important as your full time job. you know, this is not just a hobby. This can be a full-time career if you put faith not only in me, but yourself. Because I have the game plan. I've been doing this since 2012. I have the game plan. It's just that, you know, even getting my doctorate in sports psychology, I'm still trying to tap into everybody to say, hey, listen, we can build a bigger machine than what it is. And a handful of my trainers have their own brand. Mm-hmm. So they're representing my brand and their own personal brand. You know what I mean? So I don't have no problem with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But culture. But how do we all juggle? How do we all juggle?
Well, I think, it's like if I have my own brand, why am I rocking with your brand, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, it's kind of like one of my mentors, he said to me a long time ago, he said, Evans, you can't feed your family and your ego.
Right.
And today, this is Instagram superstar day. This is the, how many likes do I get on social media?
Yeah. But it's a like competition.
Yeah, but it doesn't feed my family.
No, not at all.
So when I sit down with somebody, I got to figure out, okay, like, why are you here? Like, why do you want to be on the Feel More Fit team?
Yeah.
Because if you got your own brand and that's working, why not just rock your own brand?
Yeah.
And I can take that bulk of clients and give it to somebody else who wants to be on the Feel More Fit team.
Right.
And they move closer to full time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or can you sell to this brand? Realize, like LeBron James is not trying to create the LeBron sneaker. He's on the Nike, brand. You know what I mean? And Steph is on Under Armour. And then the more that they contributed to Nike and Under Armour, the more opportunities within the brand. You know, you think about a Jordan at the end of the day is still a Nike.
Yeah, of course.
So this person who has their own brand, if their brand is not fully developed where they're doing full time in that operation, and you've been full time since 2012, why not just put that brand on ice for a little bit, build this thing,
right?
Because this is already an operating machine, so it can feed you. And then, there's an opportunity to lead within that brand, and they could be a subset. They can be a second location, a third, or fourth location.
Correct. And I always try to explain that, but it's a real harsh world out here, and I don't want anyone to feel that I'm selfish with my brand. So guess what I do? I push my brand and their brand. I push both to just show, hey, listen, I'm not hating. You know what I mean? I want you to build your brand, but I don't know. It's a fine line. And then also I thought about it like, how can I run this? How can I run this like a record company? Like Jay-Z's got Rockefeller, then he's got his artists, he's got Kanye, he's got Rihanna. How can I do that as Feel More Fit Rockefeller, and then my trainers be, you got Rihanna, she's a specialty at this. You got Kanye, he's a specialty at this. You got me, you know what I mean? Whoever.
Well, they have to try not to be Rockefeller too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when they submit to Rockefeller, they're submitted to Rockefeller.
Right.
And Rockefeller has a swag. They have a way. They have an operation. They have a way in which they do the things. So if you're going to be part of Rockefeller, you're going to have to drink the Rockefeller water, so to speak. You know what I mean? You can't be trying to do, somebody else's water, and you're on the Feel More Fit team. So
and I wanted to do this so they can hear it too. It's not just coming from me. It's like, yo, let's bring an outsider in and see what what input he has, because we have all the tools. When I tell you I have all the tools to take over the whole East Coast if we wanted to, mind, body, soul, training, nutrition, we do. It's just that people have different egos, people have different ventures, people aren't committed, people aren't I'm here on time all the time, where Phil Morgan, Feel More Fit, I'm going to be up every morning at 5 a.m. on this clock waiting for you. I need you to have that same mindset.
Well, to me, it's always easier when you're distant, right? So what I mean by that is, there are several trainers I had over the years that I should have fired earlier than I fired them, or then they quit. Right. You know what I mean? So it's always easier for me not having to deal with those individuals and know them, know their families, develop that love with them to tell you, hey, look, these are some serious conversations that, at the end of the day, you represent, my brand, your fingerprint, like, how you do, like, give you an example. One of the things we do in my office or in our studio is that if you're late for an appointment, whether it's a staff meeting, a client, whatever, you got to do 50 burpees.
Yeah.
You got to go Facebook Live in our family and do 50 burpees.
Right.
Well, Today, I was late for our staff meeting because I was chatting with another fitness business owner, helping them do some things up in Philly. And I had to go and do my 50 burpees, you know what I mean? And staff
Yeah.
is holding the fit camera going, all right, that form ain't that good. But,
Right.
you know, it's like the standard, you know, there's a great book called not Straight Line Leadership, Extreme Ownership.
Mm-hmm.
By these two guys who, Jacques Willis, I think is one of the guys, or, you know, that's not his name, but is in the book, he talks about that the standard that I tolerate is the standard, not the standard that I complain about. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like if Phil is going to be early and on time,
Yeah.
anybody who's wearing Phil's label is
Yeah.
going to be early on time, or they're not going to have that opportunity.
Right. Why is that important? Tell them why that's so important. Because
Well, first, it builds credit.
a footprint.
Absolutely. Also, it builds the credibility with the client.
Definitely builds the credibility.
You know what I mean? It tells the client, how are you and what do you like? You know what I mean? And it's the most important thing, because what it does, it pigeonholes you and your creative ability, because then it's like, I don't want to work with Joe.
Right.
Joe doesn't respect my time.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But if Joe respects my time, or Joe treats me the same way that Phil treats me, then I can trust the Phil brand.
Right.
But nobody wants to go to like the why is McDonald's the number one restaurant in the world? Not because they have great burgers.
Because you know that they got their footprint, and that sausage, egg, and cheese hit every Friday morning.
You know, but no one's squeezing ketchup on it in the back to change the flavor of it. Right? Yeah. No one's throwing pickles on things that don't need pickles.
Right. Right.
You know, no one's like, hey, you know, let me try my mama's special sauce on the Big Mac.
No.
It's
already perfect.
So if you have your brand, and it's not that, you know, as owners, we're not open to conversation about, hey, right. And I'm very open. I encourage my team. I'm like, yo, right. You see something, you see an opportunity, let's talk about that. How can we tweak this? How can we take it to the next level? How can we serve our clients at the highest level? Right. But there's certain like quality pieces, like we have our core values, and that's not compromisable. You know what I mean? Like that's the culture. And that's how people know to trust you. Right. Because no matter how skilled you are, you know, people buy from people they like, trust, and respect.
Right.
And if you can't show up in time, I can't respect you.
Right.
You know, if you know, someone can't do business with you.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I think it's really important. And those to me are like what we call red flags, where it's like, and clients will tolerate it to some degree because they love for you.
Yeah.
You know, but at a certain period, they'll go, well, you know, I'm not really getting the same value.
Right. Right.
You know, as I would have if I trained with Phil, or if I worked with Phil. So you know what? I'm out. And sometimes they'll go to a subpar situation, but at least they showed up on time.
Right. Yeah, they'll
at least they return my phone call. All those little things make a huge difference. And to me, if someone doesn't have that, they don't have what it takes to take you to the entire Eastern Shore.
Right.
If anything, they'll hinder you, because one of the worst things that can happen to a small business like ours, right, is we grow faster than our like foundation. It's kind of like, think about it, like your team is your foundation and their strength is the foundation on the projection available, right? So you build a house fast, but you didn't wait for that foundation to set. As soon as something comes, the foundation crumbles because it wasn't built. So the last thing it's easy to, you know, like tear down a reputation. It takes a while to build it. And, you know, you started in 2012. I started in 2009. I mean, we've been in this game for a little bit. It takes a while to build up. And it takes a lot of our own personal sweat equity. You know, like you, I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I have my morning rhythm. I mean, this week coming up, I'm going to be in both of my locations because we're opening up this week. So I'll be up at 4 o'clock so I can be at each location on the course of the week. And, you know, I still have to do everything I need to do. There's seasons where I was at 80 hours a week because that's the part of the grind.
That's our minimum.
You know,
that's our minimum.
So, you know, it's important that if I'm going to do all that to ensure that you can eat, because here's the reality, Phil, you can do less hours, serve less clients, and make more money.
You think I don't know that?
You know what I mean?
But guess what? I up in here, it said, listen, I built this team. I have to take care of them. So regardless win, lose, or draw, when you see me through the internet, Fillmore Fit's going to look good because I did that. You know what I mean? And I don't want to, tell people my plans and not follow through. We built a big team. We're going to work through it, and this is how we're going to do it. So, but we definitely have all the tools. We just need to keep everybody motivated, and we just need to pinpoint how can everyone be full time, because they can. I've done it. But if you don't, like you said, if you don't want it more than I want it more than you.
Yeah, and it's having those honest conversations where, it's like, hey, what is your vision? Like, what does success look like for you?
Right.
Where do you see yourself here? Because one person may like, well, I see myself, maybe picking up 1 or 2 more clients. You know what that tells you? If you're looking for somebody to go full time, this guy's great part time, but he's not your full time guy.
Yeah, yeah.
If you talk to somebody else and they're like, you know what? I'd love to be able to figure out a way to get this to full time. And then you can have an honest conversation. That's what's not happening, right? The honest conversation is like, yo, if you want to go full time in our industry, that means that you're going to get paid for this much and you're going to have to work for this much.
Guess what? Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth.
And then what you do is over time, because you've worked for this much, then your pay starts coming up to match.
Thank you.
Where you are.
It takes how many years? Maybe not 1, 2, maybe 4 if you're with the brand. You got to grow. Some people work 20, 30 years to get a good raise. So that's what I try to tell my staff and say, listen, I'm paying you out of my own pocket. How about that?
How
about that? Win, lose, or draw, you will always get paid. Win, lose, or draw, I may not get paid. So if that's not motivating enough to you, then what is?
Well, the question is then, if someone's not bought out or bought in because of that. Here's the deal. I was talking to my physical therapist today, and he was sharing how, there's a major physical therapy company, and they laid off half of their PTs, all their athletic trainers, all their, support staff, but here's the deal. The economy is going to turn at some point. And those people half of them are going to go right back to the same company.
Yeah.
So if you are keeping people on, ensuring they're staying compensated, even during a time frame where unemployment is at one of the highest it's been in forever, and if this person doesn't have a higher sense of loyalty to you, then you know everything you already need to know.
Yeah. Because here's what's happening. I just, I ask everyone, pertaining your schedule, just try to do a couple live workouts to keep the clients engaged, because I'm not always there at 4 p.m. We have a certain trainer that may be there at 4 p.m. All the clients like the trainer at 4 p.m. They want to work out with you. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're just doing that, we got some people who donate to my personal Cash App, maybe on a weekly basis. We got some people who may, donate on the 1st and 15th. So first, the lights still get paid, the rent in the gym, and then my trainers. You know what I mean? So whatever personal money I make sure that's for me. But whatever's donated, I try to make sure it's spread out to everybody. Hey, we're trying. I'm trying. You're trying. You're keeping our clients engaged, and they're grateful for that.
Yeah. And I mean, so if someone's unwilling to do that, they're telling you everything.
Yeah.
They're not sold out to taking care of your people based on the model and the method that you choose to serve those people. Well, you know what? There's a new 4 o'clock guy. And you know what? If you're true to who you are, you're not going to put somebody else at 4 just to put a body. You're going to put somebody that people like. So you're going to turn around and like that new 4 o'clock guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention names, but you know of trainers that I've had here, and people like them. And you know what happened when they weren't here? People like the new people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had to ensure, and it was tough decisions, but I had to ensure that I was taking care of the company, because the companies would take care of all of us.
Right, exactly.
And when I told my staff meetings and I talked to my team, I always tell them, I said, look, my number one priority is to take care of you, my staff. And I believe that if we have the right culture, if I take care of you, you'll take care of my clients.
Yes.
And if you take care of our clients, all the money is made.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to constantly look and say, okay, if you're not taking care of the clients the way I would, why is there that disconnect? What's going on? And what adjustments we need to make?
Yeah.
And maybe that's a conversation. Maybe there's some stuff going on in your personal life, and we need to do a one-on-one to figure out what's going on, But if things are good there, then we have to talk about, okay, what's happening? Is there some friction that, I might have caused and I didn't know? because we're passionate, we're intense. Working with us is like running a sprint every day.
Every day. Yeah.
So, maybe you don't feel, think about your accomplishments and what you've done and the space you've operated in. You got your undergrad, you have your master's, all in the exercise science world. And now you're getting your doctorate in exercise psychology and all this kind of stuff. So, the way you see the world and the way you communicate, you can be seeing and communicating here and they're understanding here.
Right.
So it's kind of like, what's going on? Where's the gap? And
because I'm moving so fast.
It could be, but it's in those one-on-one conversations that we can find out.
Yeah.
And that's where, to me, I open it up where it's a space for vulnerability, and I had to realize in order to lead my team well, I had to create this space that I could be vulnerable with them.
Right.
And I was very honest with my team. When COVID happened, I said a couple of things. One, no one's missing a paycheck.
Right.
So we did that. Two, we don't know what's going to happen, but this is our plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have a solution. I don't know the answers. It's called an agile workspace. We're gonna figure some things out together. If you see something, if you think of something, your input is just as valuable as mine. Because it's new to me, just like it's new to you. And our team stepped up to that, and they crushed it over these last 8 weeks.
So you run mostly like group training, one-on-one. What kind of style do you run?
So we do one-on-one and semi-private. So semi-private for us maxes out at 3, and then everything is one-on-one.
So my problem is we do majority of group training. So we have maybe, say we have 100 clients, right, who pay $10 or whatever a month. We got 10 trainers. So we're trying to grow our group training, or we're trying to grow our semi-private and one-on-one. But I don't know if it's the economy in Baltimore or people just, they're not willing to pay for the one-on-one. Even for group training, it's really hard for me to go the rate that I'm going. So with that being said, it's like, how do we expand from that? Because I'm paying everybody out this group pocket. We're paying the rent, the trainers out of these 100 clients, but these 100 clients, it's not covering everything I need to cover. But I want to be fair to all my trainers. We get an hourly rate. And these are the hours you work. And guess what? If you're on time, if I have extra money, I'm gonna throw you a 10 or 20 just for being on time. And I don't even tell them that. They might see an extra $20 and say, hey, Phil, you messed up. I said, no. In my head, I'm like, no, you were on time. You were neat. You know what I mean? You gave a good workout and people like you. And I'm grateful for that. Yeah, $10 may not seem like a lot, but guess what? I'm just doing what I can.
Well, the question is, if my compensation is fair, then I don't need to tip you to do your job. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But a part of it is, if, let's say, you talked about all these people from different modalities, right? I'm a bodybuilder. Well, ain't nobody bodybuilding in a group class.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bodybuilding is about, muscle hypertrophy, right? And aesthetics and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's volume and, there's all these pieces to bodybuild. So where's your bodybuilding clients coming in at?
Right.
You're the bodybuilder guy.
Right.
If you're the whatever guy, then where's that person? You should have a calling and a drawing of people who follow you based on your belief system. Correct.
Yeah.
So that's, the first part. It's like, hey, boom, boom, boom. I got to make sure all this is good, and then you're getting compensated to do your work,
right.
It's like, that's what it is. The business has some clear numbers, and I got to pay the rent. I got to pay the bills.
Right.
If there's debt, I got to pay the debt,
yeah.
And you're a part of the bills,
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And my wife doesn't like the idea of me not coming home with any income, so I got to do that as well. And then we have to figure out if compensation is fair based on what people are, compensating here and there. And that's an easy test. You can just ask other trainers, get your trainers to go shop the market and see what
right.
people are paying. And then that's fair. And then that's the space we need to operate in.
And then I also give a lot of leeway. So, I know I can't pay them $1,000 an hour. So, but guess what? You got the free membership. You can bring your friends and family whenever you want. You have 24-hour access. You can host events on your specialty. So say you are a bodybuilder or you do nutrition, you have the key to do any type of event you want at any time to generate any type of income. So for me not being able to pay them what I think they deserve or what the market is, you have so much other space around you to create opportunity within the brand to generate income for yourself.
But what you're doing at the same time is you're hurting your business, meaning um, like the business need to be taken care of, regardless if that goes in your pocket or not. The
Right.
business need to be taken care of, because the business's sustainability is what allows everybody to do everything they want to do.
Right.
So what am I telling my trainers? If their friends and family could come here for free, but strangers got to pay. So the concept of value is diluted.
Right.
So no, your friends and family don't come here for free. If you're married, your spouse may be a benefit of the contract where they can train here, but your friends are have to use our services like everybody else because we value it.
Right.
You're not going to graduate with your master's and not have any debt.
Right.
So you spend all this time, think about all the equity that you put into building your company.
Yes.
You did all this stuff and you're saying, oh, well, you got a friend? Okay, cool. They get all this equity for free. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, that's not fair.
I feel like I'm on bar rescue.
Huh?
I feel like I'm on bar rescue.
Yeah.
I needed this because I wanted people to see what goes on behind the scenes and what, as gym owners, we go through and what we talk about and how we're going to fix it. Because if people don't know, they just think everything is so golly go lucky, you know what I mean? And everything's so great, but it's like, we need you. We need you on our side to, change this community.
Yeah, it's no, that's not fair to the business. And people do not have the expectation anywhere else. Think about people who do hair. I don't think our industry at its roots is different from a barber.
Right.
Right. So if there's a couple different ways that you can do the barber compensation, right? You can pay your fee for your chair, and you pay like, hey, I gotta pay $250 a week for my chair.
Yeah.
Well, you can cut everybody you want for free, just give the house $250.
Right.
Or you could do a split, right? And you say, okay, this is a split of every head that I cut, you get X number of dollars. You know what I mean? But bottom line, there's this, at some point, if the guy says I gotta put a $250 in the owner's pocket this week, then he can't just be cutting all his friends and family for free, because his clients are his friends and family.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think, people have to get understanding that, hey, look, these lights, for me, it's Delaware, but the city of Baltimore, not just saying, oh, you're a nice guy. Don't worry about the bills.
Right.
Right. What I mean?
Yeah.
When it gets hot in the summer, our bills go up. When it gets cold in the winter, our bills go up. Maintaining, 68 degrees is going to cost you quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And they don't come in here and it's not 68 degrees. Mm-hmm. So all those little things, like if there's an expense on the other side, there has to be an income to match that expense. Right. And that is fair.
Right.
And anyone who doesn't think that's fair, they don't value what you have to offer. Right. And that's okay. You don't need to have people who don't value what you have.
Right.
It's kind of like somebody saying, hey, man, why can't I get like 50 of those T-shirts for free? I got like friends that like your logo.
Right.
You go, well, the printer guy doesn't give me 50 for
free print too, yeah. So you know what? And then also, with it being such a technological world, and people are scared to face-to-face communication. They think that if you pull them up on something that, you're bashing them. It's like, no, I just want to talk to you face-to-face on what's going on, because if you don't like something I did, you need to let me know face-to-face. If I don't like something you did, I want to let you know so it doesn't happen again. Because if we're working in the same space and we're bumping heads, you're not going to want to come to work every day. I'm not going to want to come to work every day. So speak upon how big communication is. Like, I have my own staff, Feel More Fit Warrior staff, and then I also rent space to other trainers. So, but obviously everybody's personalities don't get along. But how can we further explain, like, all I have to do is talk to this person. Mm-hmm. That's it. We're under the same. Obviously, we're a family. Obviously, we're trusted. We have a key to the building. Like, how can I get everybody to communicate on the same page? Like, without just bump. I don't know.
So,
it's like people are just scared to communicate. Confrontation.
So it's, for me, and I've had that where people kind of lock up and they don't want to share anything. And, I'm like, hey, we remove ourselves from the facility if, as a leader, I'm seeing that, hey, someone's uncomfortable here. You know what? Let's go grab some coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah.
You know, let's go this. What's going on? And I know I have my things that I want to, discuss, but I want to see what's going on in your world, because I do know that I'm seeing the world through my vision only.
Yeah.
So I want to see what's going on in your world. But the ability, actually, it's one of our core values, is open, honest, and clear communication.
Right.
And so for us, communication is so critical.
Yeah.
Because I talk about, like, when I was in the military, what you do is to take the enemy out. The first thing you do is kill their ability to communicate. Because if they cannot communicate with each other, they cannot align and they cannot succeed.
Right.
And communication is not all this happy stuff. Think about your best friends growing up, right? I grew up in Brooklyn. My best friends, we fought. You know what I mean?
Right.
Think about you're married. You've had your uncomfortable conversations where you offended mama and mama offended you. You know what I mean? But it's on the other side of that where the marriage grew to another level.
Right.
So it's critical if people want to be successful.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the culture that's inside of your team is reflected upon the culture inside your clientele.
Right.
They can feel, what it's like. Oh yeah, I actually use it as a sensor. If there's laughter continually in the building, I know we're on the right track.
Okay.
Because my team, that's just what we do. We crack jokes. We have a good time. We laugh. You know what I mean? But, I give you an example. And we find opportunities to check each other on small things first. So the idea of checking each other is okay when we have to deal with big things.
Right.
So we had a new staff member, and everybody has stuff to do that you don't get paid for. Right. You got to mop the floor. It's just like what goes down. Like I'm not.
You guys people mop the floor?
Absolutely.
Oh.
We mop the floor, we clean the toilets, we do all this stuff, you know what I mean? Because we're not this big, massive corporation that can pay a cleaning company. Because here's the deal: if a cleaning company comes in and pays that means that's money you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So we all do it, it was like her first week, and she mopped the floor. She just finished mopping the floor, and I'm eating a chocolate, chocolate peanut butter protein bar. It has a little chocolate coating, and a piece drops on the floor. I don't know. And she checks me right on the floor. She's like, yo, I just mopped this floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're so right. Please forgive me. I picked it up and I said, I want to commend you for that.
Right.
So one of the ways that we kind of open up this ability to communicate is the fact that you did. I was like, you know what? That's very commendable, because that's the culture I want. Whether it's a piece of chocolate on the floor or it's something else, I'm human. There's times where I come in and I got an attitude a little bit. I need to be checked. You need to be like, yo, E, you need to what's going on? Like, is everything okay? And then, and my goal is never to present that. But if I do,
checking me.
Yeah, check me, because it's like my fly being open.
Right.
I don't want to work on my fly open because I'm the CEO.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, to swing it back around about communication, I guess I was doing it wrong, because I always I don't want to say I come down hard on my staff, but I say, listen, we live in the murder capital of the world. So, there's no coming sweet at you. I'm coming straight at you. Here's what it is. Here's what happened. Here's who said what, and how can we nip this in the bud? Because there's been several times where I felt tension, and this person doesn't like this person, and I both see him in the gym. I said, you step outside with me, and I drag him in. I say, listen, we're grown. You're great at what you do. You're great at what you do. Here's why you're here. I love you, and I want to do this is for you. I love you, and I want to do this is for you. What's going on? Can we communicate? Is that wrong? Or that's just tough love. It's like, yo.
No. I'm big on anybody who knows me who's on this. They know I'm straight. But at the same time, there's some opportunities in that, right? So like you said, you're here because I love you, and I want to do this for you, right? But you didn't say you're here because I love you and you want to do this. Because see, the number one station that people watch or listen to is WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Right.
So when you're communicating to them about why they're here, it better be what they want, not what you want for them.
Right.
So immediately it's like, yeah, I know you want that, but what do they want? So really unpacking that. And as tough as people are, You know, like I remember growing up in the city, right? Somebody's like you're chilling on the street and you walk by somebody and they're like, what you looking at? Well,
Yeah.
as I grew up, I started to wonder why people did that. Like clearly you can see I'm looking at you.
Right.
So the reason why you did that is that you have some insecurities
Yeah.
about me looking at you.
At you. Yeah.
So as tough as you may seem, you're just like a candy shell.
Yeah.
Little hard, but all kinds of jelly on the inside.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm approaching my team, I want to ensure that I'm sensitive to the fact that there's a lot of jelly inside.
Right.
And a lot of people haven't been trained in conflict resolutions. I
Right.
mean, most
Yeah.
marriages won't make it past 2 years because as soon as conflict's in, they're out.
And then also we have a big I would say about a 20 or 30-year gap between some of our staff members.
Mhm.
So we got some of the younger staff members, they want to do their thing. We got some of the older seasoned staff members who just want to be cool, calm, and collected. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like I said, I'm kind of glad this happened. So now I can put together a schedule where I wouldn't say we're conflicting genres, but I also want us to be able to communicate and respect one another in each other's space at the same time, because you're obviously under the brand if you're in the building. So you're not only representing me, you're representing you, your clients. You're representing more than just what this is.
Mhm.
You're representing your clients too. So
So the only way you unify people is with a mission. Like, so why is everybody under the building?
right,
What is everybody there for? And it can't be for different things.
right,
Everybody has to be there for one thing.
right,
And so it's figuring out, okay, what are we here for? And not just what are we here to do, but how do we choose to live in this space?
correct.
Meaning you have to set the tone. And that's where I think core values come in, is you got to say, hey, as Fillmore Fit, this is how we do.
Right.
There was a story about Ritz-Carlton, and Ritz-Carlton is known to attract like these high energy, very polite, courteous people. And somebody, said to this person, it was like, hey man, everybody ever talked to Ritz-Carlton is so nice. Why is it? Why is it here?
Yeah.
Like, because if you're not, you don't work here.
Right. And I flew a mentor in from North Carolina for 2 days to come groom my staff. Some people came, some people couldn't make it, but I try to do things like that to make sure we have some type of training, some type of CEU, some type of core value. So I'm doing all I can, but like you said, I maybe need to structure some things a little bit more and pinpoint people individually so we all can be utilized and we're one solid machine going forward.
Yeah, it's, everybody. So I'll give you an example here. Like we have an internal certification process here. I launched it last year because I realized that the way I was doing things and the way the team was doing things weren't the same.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? If you come on my team, you have 30 days to get certified with our Senior Fit Cert. If you're not certified in 30 days, you exit.
Okay.
In the first day, you have to know our core values.
Sure.
So everybody on our team knows our core values day one. And every time we check somebody or have those conversations, we reference the core values and go, hey, where do you see that? Oh man, yeah, that's communication consistent. What's that? Oh yeah, that's extreme ownership. Oh, what's that? That's being, for example.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So everybody constantly, because culture is the way we do things. Right. So we can both do the same thing.
Right.
But what's the difference between, and I heard this example recently, what's the difference between being on the Patriots? Think about who the Patriots draft, right? They're the number one seed team most years, right? So they're drafting the lowest talent in the pool.
Right.
And then you look at the Bengals or the Bills or some team like that, right? They're drafting the highest talent. Right?
System.
So exactly, it's the culture. Think about it. If you join the Bengals, you're excited you're in the NFL.
Right.
If you join the Patriots, you're looking to win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
So think about the psyche. One person's like, yes, I'm in the NFL. The other person is thinking, yo,
yes, I'm going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So is your team thinking about like, what's the Super Bowl? Like we have a very clear mission, 3 self-sustaining locations. Everybody know it. So in our cert, like you tested on, do you know what the mission is? Do you know what the vision is?
Right.
Do you know why we exist?
Right.
What are we here for? And then how do we do it is our culture. It's not how we cue a squat. We can teach monkeys to squat. We were just talking about this in our staff meeting.
Yeah.
Monkeys can learn how to squat.
Right.
Monkeys can't lead people.
Right.
So what's the culture in our environment that allows us to hit our mission? Because we can go after this mission like crazy. And I lost within the last 2.5 years, minus the current 6 months, go back 2.5 years worth, I probably lost close to $500,000, right? Because I didn't have the right culture.
Right.
So we brought people in and they turned out. We brought people in and they turned out. People in and they turned out. And I lost.
Can you send me that structure, please?
So that, we start looking at, and we actually launched the core values. I went out to this conference and they were saying, hey, Evans, write down a list of all the things that get on your nerves.
Right.
Like everything. And then put them in 5 categories. You'd be surprised. There's like,
yeah.
And then the opposite of that, that's what you want.
Have you ever taken a business class?
I took like one in college. I've been mentored in business by a lot of people, but I've took like one class, but I can't tell you what I learned out of it, to be honest. I think standard deviations maybe. But I've invested a ton. I've invested probably over $100,000 in the last couple of years just in business growth and personal growth and everything else. And I'm also very transparent about how I invest in my team with them as well.
I've never taken a business class, so everything was just trial and error for me, over these years. So, and I try to explain to, my staff who's also trying to build their brand, here's what to do and here's what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Here's why you could be successful, and here's why you shouldn't go left instead of right. Because some go left instead of right. I'm like, I gave you the game plan. It works. You know what I'm saying? You ever made 6 figures? You know what I'm saying? So here's the plan for 6 figures. Just follow me. Be consistent. You're not going to make it yet. You might not make it for 2 or 3 years. But guess what? In 3 or 4 years, if you figure out the system, if you figure out the culture, if you figure out the business, then guess what? We got 2 more gems. Now, you know what I'm saying? You can run your own.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So I think it's sometimes just slowing down and realizing, okay, what do they want? So one of the things I have people do when they launch even is they have to do a vision statement and they have to write out like the next 10 years of their life, and break it down. And I need to know, like, what do you really want?
Yeah.
And does what you want align with what I want? And can we find this happy medium here?
Right.
Because if not, you find yourself, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, don't throw your pearl before swine. So you find yourself tossing out all this wisdom.
Yes.
People who don't appreciate it.
Man, $200,000 worth of wisdom and education up here.
Yeah. And so what you're looking for. So I'll give you an example. The guy who worked for me, that you're familiar with, he unlocked me in a short period of time, right? He came to me initially and he was like, yo, Evans, will you like mentor me and coach me or whatever? And I was like, why? You have access to all these other trainers and all these other fitness gurus and everything else. And he was like, nobody will teach me anything. So at first I just wanted to see, like, is this guy worth the investment? So I just had him like, hey, show up at this time and just watch what I do. And then after we finished up, we talked about, did you see what I did? And he tell me what he sees, and then I'll tell him what he didn't see.
Right.
Because there's some things that you're doing on automatic right now.
Yeah.
That you already forgot that you learned. You know what I mean? And your team, they're at 0, you're at 50 to 100, and you forgot about 3.
Right.
You're in that mode, and they're saying, "Oh, I only saw this," and you're like, "You didn't see all those 47 other things I did?"
Yeah.
So we start developing that relationship, and then I said, "Okay, read this book," and I wanted to see, would they read a book, and if they read the book, then we'd continue to have that conversation. If they wouldn't read the book, then we'd stop having the conversations. You know what I mean? So those are some things we started to look at and see, okay, is this person worth it? Because you got to be honest with yourself. You only have so much to give out, and you got a wife and you got a child.
Right.
And you have goals, in 6 months postgraduate, Sally says, yo, dude, You know, I
Sally's
want,
on it now. I mean, I've been paying Sally for the past 5, 6 years. Really.
you know,
You know, I was capped at the master's degree because I went out of state twice for 2 schools. So for my doctor for the past 6 years, I've been paying out of pocket. So
hmm
Sally's on me.
yeah. So you know what I mean. So everybody has to subscribe into that, and I think that's where it is really sitting down the team, you know, and saying, hey, look, this is what I see, this is what I want. This is why I think everybody should be here, and
Right.
then doing a one-on-one with every single person and going, man, what do you want out of this?
Right.
You know, because you clearly are willing to give them the keys to the castle. You're clearly
Yeah.
willing to
Yeah.
show them all the pieces.
Yeah.
But the question is, do they see that and do they
Right.
want that?
Right.
You know, and if they don't want it, then, you know, it was great. You know, we can still be cool. Like, you know, I'm still very cool with people
Yeah.
that used to work here. It's just that their life journey, you know, we were an intersection. Is that whole concept of some people in your life for a reason, some people are there for a season, and some
Right.
for,
Right.
you know, and so we have to be aware, okay, the season's up.
How do you explain to your staff or, you know, people, and I know what your answer is probably going to be, but how do you explain to people like, you know, because some people probably think it's just, Phil thinks it's all about his brand. He thinks it's all about him. How do you explain to them, like, you know, no, it's not all about me. It's never about me. Yeah, Phil Moore fits on the building, but, you know, it's never all about me. How
So
can we?
so it's so funny you asked this question, right? So a year and a half ago, I had a client, I was struggling with staffing, right? And I had a client, she goes, do you really expect to have somebody like you? And I was like, yeah. You know, first I was like, no, 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 no. I know everybody's different. Da, da, da,
Right.
da. And then I sat back a couple of days later and I thought about it and I said, that's the problem. The problem is that they're not like me.
Right.
You know, so as much as it is not about me, it is about me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Wow. Right.
So it's not about
Yeah.
me, the fact that I'm not ego tripping, you know, everybody
Right.
doesn't have to be a little Evans robot, but it is about how do I care for people? It is
Right.
about how do I deliver outcomes? It is about what kind of results I produce. It is
Right.
about how I communicate to my clients. It is about the culture that I created. So you got to do it my way about me, but you could do it within your brand and who you are and everything else. You
Right.
know, so it's not about me in the fact that, yeah, it's not about my personality and who I am and, you know, oh, you know, I need the all this. But here's the deal. Everybody on Rockefeller want to be with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to be with Jay-Z, you're not a Rockefeller.
Right.
There's still something called Virgin Records out there. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
still other brands, you know,
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
You know, so and then I'd want to question, like, if we agree to be in this boat and the name was already on the building when you showed up to the boat,
Right.
then like we shouldn't even have the conversation about, is it about me? And I had a young lady who worked for me for a very short period of time, and you know, and she was like, well, you know, like I can't compete with you. And I was like, you shouldn't want to compete with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to compete with my team.
Yeah. Not at all. We're on the
That makes
same
no
team.
exactly. Like
Even
Michael's not
even
trying
even
to
even the trainers I rent space to, yo, we're on the same team, yo. We're on the same team. Let's just all lock arms and let's how can we take 10 steps forward?
you know.
Because people just know African Americans is doing something bad. Yo, let's lock arms from Delaware to Baltimore to, you know what I'm saying? How can we, you know what I mean, you and I too, how can we make a bigger movement than what it is this next 6 months?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's alignment, you know, it's looking and
Yeah.
what type of people who are concerned with the egos and, you know what I mean, the fact that you got to roll up to my building tells you everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need an ego trip.
Right.
My name is on the check. You know, if something goes
Yeah.
wrong, I'm responsible. You know, if something happens, I got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't need
When
it.
there's a draw, it's all on me.
Yeah, I have to pay all that insurance.
Yes.
You know, I got to make sure the P&L somewhat makes sense. I have to live, you know, beneath my means.
Yeah.
So
What?
when COVID comes, I
Can
can
you
pay.
preach? Can you preach,
You know
please?
what I mean? So,
Talk about
so
living
you don't
below the
have that
means. Yeah.
responsibility, and that allows you to have a higher sense of peace.
Right.
If you can go home and check out, I have to go home and make sure you can check in on Monday. You know
Thank
what
you.
I mean?
Listen,
You know,
you know
so
what? You better make me cry because that is exactly how I feel. So when I get home, I can never check out. my anxiety is here right now. Even right here, it's not here. It's always here because I'm constantly worried. Listen, how are we going to take care? How are we going to take care of the building? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Everybody else don't have to worry about that. You know, they just need to show up and do what they got to do for now until we revamp the system.
Mhm.
So, but I'm
So,
glad you touched on that because my wife's like, yo, you never check out. You can never check out. I'm never comfortable because you never know. All my clients can say the hell with Phil.
mhm,
And then what?
mhm.
Jobs are scarce out here. They don't care what your education's looking like. You know what I'm saying? So
So,
yeah.
so I'm gonna give you a tip, and I had to learn this tip. I wish I learned it 5 years ago. I probably would have been a better leader. You have to pick a day that you don't do anything Film or Fit related.
Okay.
I mean, literally, if you email me tomorrow, you're going to get an automatic reply in my email that says, "Hey, Evans is unplugged."
Right.
For me to be fresh and ready to serve you, and my team to be fresh and ready to serve you, on Saturdays, we focus on refilling our tank. We
Okay.
focus on our family.
Mm-hmm.
Because what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Yeah. And
What
that's
does profit
you know
mean?
what? And not to cut you off, that happens because it's like you're putting out so much, so much, so much. It's like you don't even have time for yourself or your family. You know, some days it's hard to even drag yourself to the shower because you're so dragged. You know what I mean from the day. You know, so yeah, you're touching on a lot. You're preaching.
Yeah, so we play board games with the family. I watch TV, which I'm not even TV is not the thing for me. I just chill,
Yeah.
and I realized, the first time I did, I was like, I mean, we put it out there, the automatic email goes out, but you still get emails in, right?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not doing nothing around the house. Let me reply. And one of my clients, love of her life, Lynn, she checked me on it. She was like, you're supposed to be unplugged.
Right.
Just don't answer any more of my emails.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, you're right. But think about it. Like in that moment, the building didn't go burn up. Like everybody survived Saturday.
Right.
But when I showed back up, I was fresh.
Right.
New ideas came. I was
Right.
my ability to manage stress decreased because I was fresh.
Right.
Versus, and I'm telling you, I wear the Whoop, right? And it shows you like your recovery, and I'm in the red, meaning I'm not recovering for like weeks at a time.
Right.
Until I started realizing, no, Evans, you earn the right, because my clients go on vacation, my staff goes on vacation,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling
Yeah.
guilty going on vacation.
I feel guilty. Yeah, I feel the
I,
same way.
I was
I went on
guilty.
vacation for a week. I watched my cameras
I
every
did too.
day. And it's not that I don't trust my staff. It's just like, yo, I love what I do and I want to be there.
Yeah. So that's unhealthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we
yo.
were like, nah. If they can go on vacation, if everybody can take a vacation, I can pull away. And even if I just pull away on Saturday,
Okay.
because now I could tell my wife, when I stood at the altar and I said, "Forsaking all others, I thee wed," I really meant it.
Yeah.
We can spend some time. I can play with my kids and really, because literally I was in a space, to be transparent, where I'm kind of playing with the kids, and I'm watching TV while or I mean watch, like doing something senior fit related,
Yeah.
while like playing with the kids.
Right.
So we start creating zero technology spaces where we're like, hey, if we're playing this game, there's no technology.
I guess I'm way worse than you because I got my son watching my YouTube channel. We exercising.
Yeah.
It's bad, yeah. And it's and I'm glad you said that to me because it's addicting. What I do is addicting. I cannot get away from it. I can't sleep at night because I'm so anxious to get up at 5 a.m. I got a new routine. I'm excited. Got a new, you know what I mean? So yeah, and I'm glad you told me to unplug because we definitely need it for the past 14, 15 years. I work 15, 20 hours a day. Dragging. So, who knows how burnt out I am.
And I tell you this, you do it for a month, just taking Saturday, nothing. You don't even go to your Facebook page. You don't go to your programming. You don't, you just like, like if you have to, I put my phone on silent.
Okay.
There's certain conversations that I know I'm expecting to have.
Yeah.
And if, and I even plan like, hey, I'm gonna call you at 3. Outside of that, my device is on silent.
Right.
So it allows me now to have this space where it's like, I can do other things. But when I come back to the game, I'm so much stronger. Think of how you played football, right? When you played football, could you like Friday night, if you had a Sunday game, you don't practice.
No. Refresh.
It's no different. Your body is just a machine, right? Your mind is the same thing. The only difference now is that we're working from here up and not from here down.
Right.
You know, and we need to have that same recovery
Yes.
rhythms. And I literally had to do like coaching. I paid for coaching for like 7 months just to get me to sleep for like 6 to 7 hours.
Wow.
You know, just because I knew like, hey, you know, I was like, oh, I need to do this nutrition coaching, right? So it's the same nutrition coaching that I offer my clients. And my coach was like, hey, your body's not going to change until you sleep. Now I'm fairly lean to begin with. So to change, you know, like the leaner you are, like the tighter you need to do to make changes, because your body doesn't want to let go of fat cells, right? You know, so he's like, you need to go to sleep. I'm like, I can't. I got this to do. I'm running a business. You know, and I'm sleeping 4 hours a night. He was like, look, until you get more hours of sleep in, your body's not going to change. So I started doing like 4 hours and 15 minutes, half hours.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal. Now I go to bed at 10 o'clock. I turn off everything and I wake up 5. Nothing breaks.
Right.
You know what I mean? I started realizing, man, I was just robbing my life away.
Yeah.
Doing things that I don't need to do. This week that I'm going to be going to work at 5 or before 5 for my 5 o'clock team, just to welcome the clients back and everything. I'll be in bed at like 9:30, and I'll wake up fresh, ready to play ball, show up and go, versus trying to stay up to get that last little thing in, and that person no-showed.
Right.
And I read somewhere that if I'm taking so much time to do my work, you know, it tells me I'm very inefficient.
Yeah.
If I can't get it done, because my wife, she's like, Evans, it's like you just got home and you back on the computer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, yeah, I just need to, you know, like I was working there, but this is the real work because I'm the owner, not just the trainer. But I couldn't do the owner work while I was at work, so that's the reason I'm working at home.
And that's what I'm kind of scared of. You know, thank God he gave me the talent and energy, because, you know, as much as I do, I really don't feel burnt out. But I know, you know, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, it could play catch up. You know, right now I'm not feeling. I can run all day long. You know what I'm saying? I can run ragged all day long and get up. But I know that, you know, down the road it may catch up with me. So I'm definitely glad you touched upon, you know, getting a good adequate amount of rest.
Yeah. So good stuff, man. So that's part of the pieces that we were looking at as far as just taking care of ourselves. It's part of our core values, even, you know, is passionately serve yourself and others, you know. And here's the deal. You go on the airplane, they say, look, you got to put that mask on you before you put it on the baby.
Right.
Because the last thing you want to do is die trying to put it on the baby. Now both you guys are out.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the piece in there. But, you know, to kind of, you know, wrap things here, it's like, one, the team has to align to the mission. Everybody got to play on the field more fit team. Well, they need to build their own team.
Right.
I mean, there's more than enough. I mean, there's 1 in 3 Americans that are dying from cardiovascular disease. About 70% or more of Americans are suffering from being overweight or obese. There's more than enough opportunity. COVID-19 has set people back who have not been training consistently dramatically. In their body, aches in their body, psychological distress, all the things that they need to be in our facilities and need to be surrounded with our team for. So if these people are saying, look, I don't want to be on your brand because my brand is more priority, you got to figure out a way to do your brand. But for us to meet our mission, you know, no man can serve 2 masters.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, it's like, well, this is the way I do things, but this is the way Phil does things.
Right.
Which way do I do it? No. You got to figure out when you suit up for your game, you can't put on 2 uniforms.
No.
Right? You can't rock Nike on your left foot and Under Armour on your right foot.
Not at all.
You know, so that's, you know, where we need to be at, you know, and by pulling the team together and having that conversation and unifying towards the mission, you know, and then sitting down and really learning the people you're working with and figure out what are their unique motivators, what are their love languages or languages of appreciation, you know, how do they like to communicate, who's creative, you know, who's this, what is their like 5 voices and how does that work? And understanding, you know, who is on the team allows you to coach at the highest level. Because that's where your gameplay right now is the psychology, is the human being. It's not how to, when you run a fitness business for 8-10 years, I wouldn't say you max out, but you reach a point where training, you're like think about it. It's like you've gotten your black belt in training the body, right? So when you look at how the body moves, what the energy it takes for you to make corrections and fix form and technique and help people from that level is it doesn't take a lot of energy.
Right.
So when it comes to like this Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the self actualization and things like that, you don't get fulfilled as much training. As much as you love it and everything else, it's almost like you're doing it on automatic because your eye is so keen that you can see your core need to be engaged. You have valgus knee, you know, you need to stick your glutes out a little bit more. At the top, you need to squeeze your glutes. You need, all these things are like automatic. So now how do you win at the next level is you got to develop your squad.
Right.
And now squad development, team development has to be the number one priority for you to be able to scale, because you can't have a weak team scale.
Right.
And that's where it's like, oh, what am I going to do? Who am I going to associate? What people, things, or whatever can I get associated? And who on my team wants to grow themselves as a human being and a professional in this sport?
Right.
Who wants to go to the NFL?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's your squad. And it may be that you have 10 on your team, but really you have 4 on your team.
Right.
And you invest in those 4, because those 4, once you get it right, it multiplies.
Right. Because we can't do it without each other.
Correct.
And I need them to know that. You can't do everything alone.
Well, it's not about they can't do it, and this is where vulnerability comes in, right? I don't tell my team what they can't do. I tell them I can't do it without them.
No, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling between me and you, we're telling our staff, we can't do it alone.
Correct.
We need you. We need you. So that's why I'm just always so gun-ho on, sticking with my group and trying to hone their skills and, not trying to let anybody go by the wayside. But, just like you said, if they, if everybody wants it, then we'll all the Power Rangers will come together and form one big one.
Absolutely. And every team that you know of cuts. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody can get cut.
Yeah.
And that has to be a part of the reality, because you have so many on the team, but then sometimes we can live in this land of inefficiencies because this person here who is not performing at the level that they should be able to perform is kind of driving the ship down.
Right.
But the reality is that if these 2 guys who are showing up late gets cut, then the others will show up on time.
Hello. Yes, sir.
And we have to have that cognitive awareness that, hey, me being a nice guy is actually hurting my clients and hurting my staff members.
Yes.
And they're losing respect for me now.
Right. Okay.
Even though I'm grinding and setting the example and doing everything I need to do because I'm not holding the standard. Think about like every movie we love to watch, right?
Right.
Every sports movie, there's always that talented kid in the beginning who messes up, and coach is like, everybody got to run laps. Right. And everybody runs laps, or coach says, you're not playing this game. And even if they lose the game, coach is like, you're not playing that game.
Right.
But the respect for coach goes up.
Yeah.
Well, we're coach now.
Right.
We spent a long time being that athlete, and we focused on being the best possible athlete. We were the captain of the team.
Right.
But you're not the captain of the team anymore. You're the coach.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, you're not just the coach. You're the franchise owner.
Right. And you know what? And I wanted to have this conversation because everything you're hitting on, I already knew. I just need sometimes for someone to tell me, hey, listen, here's a reality check. Here's what you need to do. Here's how we're going to make it better.
Absolutely. So what's some final thoughts? I don't want to have these people think we are here for a marathon, even though
man, I appreciate you. We can talk forever. You know what I mean? Maybe do it maybe either once a week or bi-weekly, different topics, because we'll see what the feedback looks like. But it's definitely great connecting with another business owner, especially in the time we're going through. We're trying to show people that us Black men are doing positive things for the community. We're not out here stealing, robbing, or killing. We're we're really changing lives, and we're just trying to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. So when is your reopen date?
Baltimore, Maryland, we're not opening. Well, they pushed it back, so we don't know. They're thinking September, October.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've been doing, and then, before we get off, that's why I'm so well-rounded, because now I have a wellness center next door, and now I'm doing rehab. So that's what's sustaining me now. Just people coming in for rehab one-on-one. So that's why it takes, that's why it's so good having a couple of different specialties.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good stuff. Yeah. And we open up here in June 1st. So Monday,
Okay.
our reopen date here in Delaware.
And good luck. I wish you guys well. I appreciate you having me on.
No,
Thank you for serving our nation, U.S. Air Force. Mr. Evans out of Delaware, owner of CNU Fit, believes in family, faith, finance, fitness, freedom, and empowering others. I appreciate it.
man. No problems. Good chatting with you, man.
All right. God bless. See you soon.
Cool.
All right.
So